Hey y'all, it's Anime Kim, and today I'm going to be reading the first episode of Magical Girl Spec Asuka. And woo! This anime is the Magical Girl fix of the season I need. Because holy shit, it has a lot of positive elements. Because in the beginning of the episode, it was introducing this epic fight against this king of these demon creatures called DCS or something like that. And it was explaining how there was 9 magical girls, 4 out of the 9 died, and then these 5 took care of it. And I was like, yeah, it was getting you pumped up for a fight. And then it just goes off screen, and for a few moments I was pissed, kind of a little pissed. I wasn't too pissed. If any of y'all see my live reaction. And then what really impressed me about the show was, normally when shows transition away from an epic scene like that, it's usually a bad thing. But in this instance, I like how the anime actually did it into a good thing, because it focused more on story at the very least. Because it mentions that 3 years later, the creature was eliminated, but there's still bad things in the world. But Asuka wants to live a peaceful life after all the trauma she's gone through. And I kind of like that, because it mentions how some of these DCS creatures, they kind of look like these stuffed toys. So whenever Asuka saw stuffed toys, she kind of gets PTSD flashbacks about how these stuffed toy monster-looking creatures like destroy children and shit. And you see Asuka all traumatized. So I kind of like that kind of stuff. I'm liking the interesting portrayal of PTSD for a magical girl too. That doing that isn't anything that you'd be able to get out of scot-free. And then other things I enjoyed about this episode was just seeing Asuka's character development, because while yes, it shows her kind of a bit in mental shock out of all the events she went through, I like how this episode shows her persevere by forming a friendship with this glasses girl and this athletic girl as the episode progresses, and you see Asuka slowly come out of her shell, doing things like explaining why she likes to read books, because it's her escape, so that it keeps her mind off of the current things, and it keeps her mind on other things. So those were pretty cool scenes. It really fleshed out Asuka pretty well. And then I like how this episode did a good job of giving us her backstory and how her parents are pretty much killed by these DCS creatures this one day when she was coming home, which is also nice. And it goes to exemplify why Asuka is the way she is. She's kind of cold, and explains why she doesn't really get close to people easily, because for a good portion of her life it's either fighting, or death around her. So I like these kind of stuff. It makes at least me as a viewer feel more sympathetic towards Asuka, while at the same time it gives her a badass angle, and then simultaneously gives her a layer of sweetness too, as she spends times with her 2 new friends. And then it culminates into her having to save the life of her friend because she almost gets killed by this terrorist dude. So I like all these elements now, because Asuka went from not having friends in the currently towards, at the very least, now having new people to protect. So I kind of like that progression of character for Asuka, the amounts they give in this episode. Most animes usually don't go the extra mile, giving that much fleshing out towards their main character in the first episode. So props to this anime. So I'd say from a character standpoint, it did well for Asuka, while everyone else is just, for now, they're just decorations. But I'm not going to dock it for that. At the very least, it's got its main protagonist on lockdown, seemingly introducing interesting antagonists to near the end of the episode. So from a character standpoint, I'd say this episode succeeds. From a story standpoint, I'd say maybe this episode could have benefited by being like maybe an hour-long portion, maybe showing off a bit of the other 4 magical girls that Asuka was working with in the past, maybe showing a bit of the fight between like this DCS King fight too, to maybe space things out a bit, and maybe fleshing out how Asuka really felt after her parents died. Because yes, I mentioned her parents died, but I would have really liked to see her, like the emotional agony when her parents first died, like a full detailed flesh out sequence, you know? So I'd say that's the only thing about the story. It slightly feels rushed, but it gets the job done. It at least captivates me off the first episode. And the animation, I'd say, is the only truly thing that's kind of weak, because while it has cool moments like when Asuka's slicing down these terrorists, or she does a transformation sequence and it looks pretty good, there are instances where it kind of resorts to still shots at times, and I cannot ignore that. I mean, I enjoyed the episode, but I would be a liar if I didn't mention that. So that was an issue, despite me liking the show. I gotta acknowledge that's a problem. That was a problem, but it wasn't a big issue. I'd say I would only become a big issue for me if that happens towards a climactic episode. Then I would be ranting about it. But for now, I'll let it pass. But I'm still gonna dock points off of it. The art, some character designs look good. Like, I like Asuka's design, but there are other characters where designs aren't as nice, but it gets the job done. It's serviceable. And I'd say overall, this was a relatively entertaining... It was a really entertaining package. What am I saying? I fucking love this shit. And I'm going to rate this episode a 7 out of 10. Recommend this anime for anyone that's a Magic Girl fan, or for anyone that just wants to see a main protagonist that has PTSD, for sure. Check it out. You'll probably love it. I mean, I'm fucking loving it. And I'd say, yeah, give it a check out. And these are my thoughts. So anyways, guys and gals, comment out your thoughts on this below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and reactions, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more. Alright, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching, and please share the video if y'all want to, and have a great safe day. Bye bye.